Shut up and sit down.
Summons, Eidolons, Espers, GFs, Primals. They have gone by many names throughout the years, but they've remained a very prominent and popular part of the long-running series. Their first appearance was in Final Fantasy III, starting with 8 summons that would become staples for the series. Their names are Chocobo, Shiva, Ramu, Ifrit, Titan, Odin, Leviathan, and Bahamut, although other monsters have come and gone with each installment. That being said, today we're going to be talking about the history, the evolution, and the inspiration of one of my personal favorites, Leviathan. The Leviathan appears in various religious texts in different ways, but they all share a similar point, being that it is a massive sea monster, often being reminiscent of a dragon. The one that I'll be citing is from the Christian Bible, from the Book of Job. The Book of Job has God describing the Leviathan in very interesting details. He says the Leviathan is large and powerful and that men collapse at the mere sight of him. His teeth are terrible and ferocious all around. His scales are his pride. They were so close together that wind could not penetrate them. No weapon of man can hope to pierce his armor of scale. His eyes are like the morning sun, and his nostrils spew smoke, and his mouth flames. He makes the sea like that of a boiling pot. Steel and iron are like straw and splintered wood against the beast. Although he does appear as a summon in 5, 6, 7, 8, and 12, he has no real bearing on the story, so there's not really anything to talk about there. He was also completely excluded from X and 13, only later appearing 13 as a concept art of a fall sea. Leviathan's first appearance was in Final Fantasy II, but instead of being a summon, he instead acts as a dungeon after he swallows the player's ship, leading them to discover and recruit Ricard Highwind, the very first Dragoon to appear in the series. Then you sail around his stomach, kill his heartworm, and then you get out. That's kind of the end of the story on that one. In Final Fantasy IV, Leviathan is the king of the Eidolons alongside his queen Asura. He realizes that Rydia is one of the last remaining summoners, so he attacks the party's ships and brings her to the hyperbolic time chamber, the Fey March, in order to help her train because time moves faster there, resulting in her getting years of training in a short time span. Rydia ends up looking at the two as her new family and parents, and against her wishes, they make her leave the Fey March to assist in the defeat of Golbez. In Final Fantasy IX, Leviathan was originally supposed to play a much bigger role in the story, but was later swapped out for Alexander. Leviathan instead was deemed a failed summon and sealed at the Lifa tree, presumably due to how destructive its tidal wave was, because Garnet, after finding him, realized using it would probably kill her mother as well instead of saving her. Although I wish they would have kept some of the backstory in for Leviathan, such as why they tried to summon him at the Lifa tree, why he was considered a failed summoning, maybe he was considered too destructive or difficult to control, or maybe rampaged like Alexander. In Final Fantasy XI, Leviathan is basically taking over the Gugru Sea because the sea commerce is making him a little upset, so he just kind of wrecks everything. Then this dude named Vadal comes to talk to him all peaceful-like, but his friend ruins that real quick by attacking Leviathan. So Vadal fights him to the death, and they both end up dying. But Vadal's friend decided to say that he was the one who killed Leviathan, but Levi wasn't having it, and made sure that everyone knew it was good old Vadal who stabbed him. So basically the guy Sultana decides Levi's a good boy, so boom, Leviathan is the new avatar of water. Leviathan was originally going to have his event in the vanilla version of Final Fantasy XIV, but since the tsunami of 2011 was so soon, they decided, we better not. So they added him into the Realm Reborn, and then he sucks the soul out of this Frisch priest dude, and then you beat him up on 2 boats stuck taped together. Then later on, you fight a 2-headed souped-up Leviathan in the Heritor of the World Leviathan event, which is likely a nod at some versions of Leviathan mythology saying the Leviathan is a multi-headed sea dragon. Final Fantasy XV has one of the coolest looking designs of Leviathan basically ever. In this one, Leviathan is the largest of all the astrals in the world, which is obvious when you actually see her. So she doesn't really like humans at all, so when she gets woke up to be asked for help, she doesn't really much like it. She basically tells Luna that a king is nothing to a goddess, and if the Noct doesn't win this wager, then she will devour everything. Noct has to use the power of kings to basically beat her into joining him, which is a good thing, because if not, it basically would be a reverse sushi buffet for the world. So that basically sums up all the major appearances of Leviathan in the Final Fantasy franchise. Oh, and one more thing. Some versions of Armageddon state that God will kill the Leviathan, meaning that if it's true, then there could very well be one of these monsters sleeping in the ocean as we speak, waiting till the day he can come out and rule the seas once more. Well, that's it, guys. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment if there's anything you'd like me to do differently. This whole thing's kind of a new formula I was trying. Also, I'm going to start streaming Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn on PC. I'll leave my Twitch and my Twitter handle in the description below. Take care.